Good morning, all. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the Bigger Picture webinar for the morning of Wednesday, the 29th of July. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own shots. I'm not here to shoot trading signals. This is a video for paying subscribers at CTM The Bigger Picture.substack.com, and it's published on YouTube after a delay of a week. All right. Let's have a look at ES. ES obviously had a modestly bullish day yesterday. NQ went down significantly, and I've got a couple of things to share on that. But RTY, we've still got a head and shoulders. It's still breaking down, and it still hasn't failed yet, but it's not making much progress down towards the target in the 28-23 area either. Yesterday, YM, I mentioned that this had a daily RSI 5 buy signal, and that played out and made target by the end of the day. We had a 60-minute sell signal at the end of the day. Has this head and shoulders failed? Possibly, but equally, we could be forming another head and shoulder, right shoulder here. So waiting to see what happens here. It's going to be an interesting day today because apart from the else, we've got some bearish leaning stats. We are leaning slightly over 60% bearish today, and we have FOMC today, and there is talk of a possible surprise interest rate rise. All right, looking at DAX, we've got a weak 6-minute sell signal fixed, which hasn't quite made, well, actually is pretty much there at the possible near miss target. ESTX, possible head and shoulders forming. Nikkei, we have gone lower, and we've got a 60-minute buy signal fix, which is at the moment trying to play out. We shall see. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts. Looking at SPX, I am wondering here, they've got this something called a diamond top, and this is what a diamond top looks like, and I'm wondering whether we've got two of those here. I'm wondering whether we've got one on SPX. See, it's goes down, goes up. It's I'm actually going to actually draw this in, but I am wondering about this. Let's hang on. Let's go with purple lines, make them larger. All right, so I'm wondering whether we might be seeing a diamond top forming here on SPX. Yeah. All right. And if so, this diamond top hasn't broken down yet, but I've actually got another one. And I've got another one on the Qs, so let's have a look at that. Now this one's interesting because if this is a diamond top on the Qs here, then it's already breaking down. You don't actually see an awful lot of these, but it is a legit topping pattern. And if we have got one here, then it's already broken down. Bit hazier on what the target would be, but that would be in the Qs breaking down from a decent looking diamond top, with SPX still forming one. So I am wondering about that. And certainly we had Dia going up yesterday, but we had the Qs most definitely going down and continuing on a daily lower band ride. Now, sooner or later, if that continues, the rest of the market is likely to follow. In terms of the shorter term charts, on the hourly chart, this would be this triangle I've been looking at here would basically be half of that diamond top. and I am wondering about that. So we shall see. Looking at the hourly chart, sorry, the 15-minute chart, not a lot to see. Qs, we had a possible weak 6-minute, RSI 14 buy signal brewing on the hourly chart that lost its divergence. We've got an RSI 5 sell signal, buy signal, which has fixed and not really done anything because Qs have been continuing to go down. We will see how that goes. But I'm looking at the Qs and I'm wondering about that. All right, looking at Dia. Dia, we actually managed to break back over the daily middle band yesterday, and the RSI 5 buy signal made target. We've got a little hourly sell signal at the end of the day on YM. Didn't see one on Dia, but I think we did have a little one on the 15-minute chart. We shall see. But basically, we've got the Qs going down and Dia going up yesterday. That's not really sustainable. We'll see how that develops. In terms of the IWM chart, we've got test of the daily middle band over the last couple of days. That is holding. Nothing to see on the hourly chart, and nothing to see really on the 15-minute chart. Could this be a diamond top as well? Maybe. Not as clearly defined as the other two. Looking at DAX, we've got DAX is pretty close to a retest of the high on the daily charts, and we might get one there. Definitely not a diamond top. And Nikkei has made it down with some confidence to the possible large head and shoulder neckline, and that has broken down slightly. And this is that neckline. So basically, we've got a sort of a fairly binary setup here with the head and shoulders. Either it heads down to the target, which I'll give you in a second. Either it heads down to the target, which would be in about the 52,000 area, or it rejects back up to the high. We shall see which way it goes. All right, great. Let's have a look at the DX chart. DX is getting very close to a retest of this high. It looks like the Iran war might be getting heating up again now, in which case I'd be looking for this to go back above this high here in about the 101.6 area. And see whether this will continue higher. In terms of the euro, nice looking bear flag that's broken down. GBP USD, still not sure what's happening here. USD JPY would likely continue higher. USD CAD would get closer to a retest of this high. US dollar has been underperforming CAD for a while here. Australian dollar, we've actually broken down from the possible bear flag here, and we've got a nice looking head and shoulders, which is broken down with a target in the 68.95 area. Not seeing anything to suggest that won't make target, and we're still on the inflection point here with NZ, with an IHS which has broken up with the target in the 59.63 area, but may fail, of course, in which case that would set up a retest of this low. And if dollar's going to go up much, that's what I would expect to see. Let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts. All right, US dollar, as I said, getting pretty close to the high there on the bigger picture. We've got a double bottom which is broken up with a target in the 104.572 to 105.239 range, and if we see, well, I'm just basically looking for higher highs and to start progressing further towards that target. Bigger picture, of course, we've got a big bull flag. Next obvious target would be this trendline resistance at about the 107 area, and we've got matching big bear flags on the euro and on GBP. Sorry, hang on 1 second. Yeah, on GBP, where we are testing this rising wedge support. Shorter term, don't think we're seeing an awful lot on the daily charts here. I was looking at a potential bull flag here on the euro, but the main setup I've got breaking down here is an asymmetric double top broken down with a target in the 1.1019 to 10855 area. GBP USD. We actually had a sell signal which has made target now. In terms of USD JPY, we've got a possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing. USD CAD, not a lot to see here. Australian dollar. We've got a weak RSI 5 sell signal fixed, and that has now made target. Possible double top setup here, of course, which hasn't broken down yet. And NZUSD. Hard to say what's happening here, but I think obviously if the dollar's going to go up, the lean would be this would go down. All right, looking at bonds. Bonds, we've got ZB here, which has been rallying a bit, ZN, which has been rallying a bit. If the Iran war is going to hot up again, I would expect these to retest the lows and very possibly continue going down. Let's have a look at the bigger picture charts on those, and on TYX. The weak RSI 5 sell signal has not made the target yet. This is suggesting that bonds might have a little higher to go. Not a lot to see on the hourly chart except this rising wedge has broken down. In terms of TNX daily chart, the RSI 5 sell signal has again not made target yet, but is looking as though it might. Hourly chart, not a lot to see. FBX, we've got a nice triangle breaking up, as of course we do have as well on TNX. Both of these suggesting that we will retest these prior highs after any bullish action on the bonds has played out, and yields start going up again. Looking at TLT, we had a possible RSI 5 buy signal brewing that has fixed, and has reached the possible near miss target now. In terms of the hourly chart, not much to see there. But I am wondering about possibly a little more upside, but we'll see. If the war is starting again in earnest, then that will obviously have a lean towards bonds going down. All right, looking at oil, we had a bit of a rally yesterday when Iran unexpectedly attacked the US in Jordan, possibly getting irritated at being told what they were doing and how desperate they were for a deal and so on and so forth. But that has pushed up oil quite a bit. That's actually quite significant, and I'll talk about that on the daily chart. But we've got the same thing happening there on CL. HO, nice move up as well. RBOB, gas oil, is going up as well. NG is continuing down at the moment. No current divergence. All right, let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts. Okay, now obviously I mention every so often I draw quite a lot of lines in. And I saw some interesting lines here yesterday. And when we were testing the daily middle bands, and we were testing the daily middle bands on Brent, I actually tweeted about it in a reply to someone and then noticed it again later. But I did say that, of course, a strong support area, particularly in an uptrend. Well, no, in a downtrend too, but that would be a resistance area then. But in an uptrend, the obvious place to bounce would actually be the daily middle band. And so far, we are seeing a bounce there. And on WTIC, we've got exactly the same. I also had some interesting patterns that I was looking at, and let's have a look at those. All right. Now, in terms of WTIC, I did actually note that I did actually spot this possible declining channel. Now, we haven't actually made it back up to channel resistance yet, but if we break up from it, there's a pretty good case that this actually is a bull flag channel, and a breakup would suggest that we are going to head back up to the highs. And if we are going to head up to the highs, of course, a very obvious area to be bouncing would, of course, be the daily middle band. So I am wondering about that, and we will see how that goes. Sorry, my line's drifted slightly overnight. I need to do some more work on that. But I am wondering if this is a bull flag channel. In terms of the bigger picture, if we do find support here, then I'd be looking for a retest of the high, and then potentially to go higher. And Brent, the same. You can see I'm marking in some potential resistance trend lines and potential patterns here. This would be a megaphone. I haven't done that on the hourly chart yet. Where did I do that? No, okay, right. So looking at WTIC, I'd be wondering about a return to a daily upbound ride, potentially to take us higher if we retest this high and continue higher. Gotta say, oil stocks are low and oil prices going down at the moment seems rather irrational, as there's very little going through the Strait of Hormuz, and increasingly there's quite a lot less oil going through the Bab el Mandab Strait as well as in the last few days, a lot of damage to Saudi oil refineries with attacks coming from Yemen. This actually has a very, very big impact, so it makes absolutely no sense that oil prices are going down at the moment. In terms of heating oil, not a lot to see. Don't think we made it back anywhere close to the daily middleman there, and I don't think we made it back there on gas oil either. No, we didn't. Could this be a head and shoulders? Yes. Is it likely to be? Well, my lean is pretty strongly no. We will see. I think the Iran war may be resuming. We may well be seeing oil prices head back to the prior highs and testing those fairly shortly. In terms of natural gas, we had a weak RSI 5 buy signal fix, and that failed yesterday. We are continuing down. I've been wondering about a possible test of this low here at 2.49, and I think we may well be heading there. All right, let's have a look at precious metals. All right, GC, we had a buy signal that made target, and we went down here again. I am wondering whether we need a retest of the low here at about 39.55 area, and whether we're waiting to see that. Potential double top if we do see that. Sorry, double bottom. In terms of SI, we've got a potential double bottom already, and it has already retested that low. Palladium and platinum, I am wondering if these might need low retests, but there's not much sign of that happening so far. HG, if it can hold the monthly pivot, I'm leaning towards seeing a retest of the all-time high here, so we shall see, and that is here. All right, let's have a look at the bigger picture charts on those. All right, gold. Gold, we've got this nice-looking channel which has broken up within this larger overall bull flag channel. Now, I would say that short term, I'd quite like to see a retest of the low to set up a double bottom. In terms of a double bottom to get us back into the all-time high, we've already got one, and that is here. So we will see whether or not it's not quite. Ideally, it would have bounced here and gone directly up, but we're still in the zone, and I'm still liking it. So we've got two double bottoms set up already. We've got a big one here, we've got a small one here, and I'm wondering about a little bear. A little bull forming with another retest to the low here. In terms of silver, we've got a weak RSI 14 buy signal fixed, and we've got an RSI 14 buy signal fixed on gold as well, of course. In terms of palladium, not a lot to see. Was wondering about a retest to the low, but we've already got a larger potential double bottom, so we don't really need one. RSI 14 buy signal fixed on platinum as well. Again, wondering about a retest to the low on copper. Copper, this has come close enough that I'm wondering about, again, a retest of the high here at 6.653. That would set up another potential double top, and I'd be leaning towards that being a double top. GDX, possible nested double bottom set up here. GDXJ, the same. Not a lot to see on the hourly charts, so we shall see how that develops. All right, let's have a look at the other commodities. All right, KC, I've been talking about this being, I've been talking about this being a bullish consolidation, and it looks like it may well be heading back up into a retest of the high. SB, double top broke down here, but I'm wondering if this is a bull flag forming instead. On CC, we've got a head and shoulders, which is broken down with a target at the 4400 area, and we've got a potential bull flag here, which may be about to break up with a target at a retest this high here at about the 6450 area. Lumber, nice looking retrace here. No obvious overall topping pattern here. CT is still wondering whether it's going to retest this high or go a bit lower. ZW, we've seen a nice pullback here. I'm leaning towards seeing a resumption of the uptrend. We've got a 60-minute buy signal fix on corn. Nice little retrace here. seeing a really obvious topping pattern here, kind of expecting to see a resumption of the uptrend. ZS, we have seen a nice retracement, wondering if we're forming a little double bottom here. ZL, nice retracement, leaning towards the next target being a retest of this high here at about the 74.70 area. Live cattle, we've got a weak 60-minute buy signal fixed. We've now got a potential double bottom here. I'm thinking this might break up with the target at about the 231 area. HE, we have got a sell signal, and we've got a potential head and shoulders here, so I'm wondering about that breaking down with a target in about the 85 area. All right, great. Let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts. Coffee, not a lot to see on the monthly chart. If we retest this high here at 357, we will get, sorry, on the weekly chart, we've got a, we would get a potential RSI 5 sell signal break. In terms of the daily chart, the RSI 5 sell signal reached the possible near miss target and has now returned to the 70 area, so I'll sign that off. This could be a potential, well, it looks like a bull flag setting up a retest this high here at 357. Looking at sugar, sugar is broken up from a wedge here, leaning towards seeing a bounce. Setup would be improved by another retest of the low, as we didn't get a full retest last time. Daily chart, nothing really. In terms of cocoa, we saw after this historic move up into areas never before seen, we then saw a steep retracement, which didn't reach these these targets here, which isn't surprising at all, and we've seen a strong rally. In terms of the short term, I'm wondering about this being a possible inverted head and shoulders here, with the right shoulder forming at the moment. Ideal low would be in the 4843 area. We've got down to 4992, but this could then break up with a target which would be at about the 11,000 area, which is an ambitious target, but obviously is territory which has already been seen. Lumber, we've got actually I think that is actually on the weekly chart. That's an RSI 5 sell signal fix. So hang on, I'm just going to mark that. Oh, of course, it hasn't quite fixed yet. I'm going to mark that in as possible. All right, possible RSI 5 sell signal. Right. So we'll wait and see whether that's fixed by the end of the week, but that's actually not a bad setup here and might deliver a larger retracement, which is well overdue. Bigger picture, of course, we've got this very nice bearish setup going down to 352, which has not been delivering anything for a long time now. We've got a possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing on the daily RSI 14 as well, and we've reached almost this possible trend line I was looking at. We shall see. In terms of cotton, wondering about a retested high here at 88.88 and possible continuation higher. Weak RSI 14 sell signal fixed, and that hasn't reached target yet, which is one reason I'm thinking this might go a bit lower. But one reason I'm thinking it might go straight up into the retest is we've got this nice looking double bottom here, which is broken up with a target in the 87.30 area. Looking at wheat, we've got a weak RSI 14 weekly sell signal fixed. We've broken up for a double bottom. We haven't made the target yet in the 739, 742 area. I'm really expecting that to make target. We have got short term a weak RSI 5 sell signal fixed, and that hasn't reached the possible no miss target yet. In terms of corn, we've got a potential double bottom here, but this one hasn't broken up yet. But we're getting closer to the double bottom resistance, which I've got in the, well, just over 500, 502, 503. Daily chart, no current divergence. We would like to see this continue higher. Soybeans, this has been forming an IHS right shoulder for months, and that has broken up. We're seeing a bit of a pullback here. That's not uncommon. We will see. But at the moment, that's broken up with a target in the 1560 area. We shall see how that goes. On the daily chart, we've got an RSI 5 sell signal fixed, which has now reached the possible near miss target. All right, great. Let's have a quick look at crypto. All right, crypto, we're still looking at what looks like a bear flag, which is broken down here. Now, that may well still be topping out. It could be forming a right shoulder, head and shoulder, right shoulder here. Equally, we could potentially retest this high here at 66.9K. we will see. But I'm quite liking some more reversal, and ideally, I'd quite like to see a retest of this low here at 57.7 to form a slightly smaller double bottom. In terms of Solana, this still looks kind of like a bearish consolidation. I'm not sure I would call it a flag exactly. Wondering about a possible retest of 83.89 to set up a double top. Not really seeing a reversal pattern. In terms of Ethereum, again, I'm leaning towards this being a bear flag, and we've been holding the resistance trend line very nicely. As long as that remains the case, this still looks like a bear flag, and we've got a little level top here which hasn't broken down yet. All right, great. In that case, I think that's a wrap. Everyone take care, and I'll catch you guys again on Sunday. All right, cheers.